So I thought I'd make this normalization video for your supplemental activity so that you could possibly be a little more successful. Students tend to have a little bit of hard time with this particular topic, so I wanted to go over it. Just let's see. Is there anything here I want to say? Just that don't forget to put your database in the normalization Dropbox once you've finished. Okay, and don't forget to click on submit for the quiz portion. And definitely read all the instructions very carefully because there's lots of details about them. Okay? So the first concept that I want to bring to your attention is that when you have a table, you need to make sure that the pieces inside a field, the data points, are in the smallest portion that they can be in. So for example here, full name, this is a really common one, is to put the full name together. Well, let's say you're trying to do a query, it'd be a lot harder to sort by, say, for example, first name. So this really isn't in the smallest piece that you can have. It's called atomic. It's not atomic. So what you do instead is you break it down and you break it into last name and first name. Okay? And here I'm just talking about how it would be difficult to create a query and sort by the first name or the first name, and that's it. Okay? I mean the last name, and that's it. Anyway, so here is an example, a question that has you break things down and practice that concept. Okay. So then here we have another example of a table, and you'll notice here we have 3 items inside this class field. Well, you don't really want that because, again, you can't sort things out or grab a part of that. Like it wouldn't be very easy to query for CIS 118 or CIS 145, for example. So you really want to break this out. And so many students, and this is one of the reasons why I'm doing this video, is because so many people make this mistake of breaking it out into class 1, class 2, class 3. You know, you have 3 classes up here, I'll make class 1, class 2, class 3. If you had 4 in there, class 1, class 2, class 3, class 4. That's really not a good design for databases. And another way to do this is to take the items that are non-repeating and put them in a separate table, and then take the student ID and match it up with each class. Okay, so here we have class 1. Well, instead of class 1, we just come down here and we say student ID CIS 118. And the deal with that is that you can make a relationship between this table and this table, and you can pull the records so that you can still know that this record is related to this record. And so then when you want, for example, the last name for this student, you can come up here and find out that the last name is Samp. Okay, so once again, instead of doing class 1, class 2, class 3, you're going to come here and you're going to make two tables. You're going to break it into two tables. Okay? All right? So then if we're coming down here, this is another example. Another way that students might want to approach this issue of having 1, 2, 3, multiple data points inside one field is that they'll just make multiple records. Well, this has a lot of redundancy in it, which is something that we want to avoid in databases as much as possible. So once again, what we do instead is we just take the parts that aren't that are repeating, and we put them into one table. See, so you've got Jorge Espinoza and Smith Destiny, and in one table, and they're not repeating. And then down here, you've got all the payments, right? And they're matched with their IDs. And so then if you're in this table and you wanted to know the person's name for whom made this payment, you come up here to 249 and you can go over and see that Jorge Espinoza made it. Okay? All right, so moving down here. And so one of the things that I want to point out to you on this one is that if you have cell phone number, work phone number, phone number this, phone number that, that is the same idea. You don't want to put cell phone number, work phone number, create new fields. You want to bring it from a horizontal, you want to break it up, and you want to put it so that you have just the student ID and the phone number and maybe a phone type. You could do that too, a field with a phone type. So coming down here, we have a situation that we did before where we had this this right here, and you have 3 entries in one field. So, and then we broke it up, right? And so that's what this explanation here is reminding you of. Okay, so now we're going to jump here, and we're going to have another situation where we have several business names in the same, in the same field, okay? So we don't want that. So we could break it up like this, but once again, that doesn't really work because you still got a lot of repetition here. So instead, you can break it up, break this up, see like this, and you just have one, then now you don't have much repetition. And then you have this guy relating back to here. But here you still have repetition, okay? And this is a major item, okay? The business name. So once again, you could break that up by assigning a identifier to the business name, okay? And then you can come down here and have another table that is just the business ID and the business name that would relate back to the business ID here. And then for the investor ID, you come here and you can come up here to invest. Oops. Then you would come up here, sorry, to investor ID. Okay. So the thing that I want to say about that is basically what you've got is you've got a many-to-many relationship. And what you are doing with this particular table is you're breaking it down. Okay? And so that's mostly what I wanted to go over for this video. And I'm really hoping that people watch it and that it's helpful. All right, thanks.